Alright everyone, welcome to the stream. So today, I'm going to take a look at another Harvest Moon. This is actually one that I had tried to stream before, but the emulator was a little messy. By the way, if anyone using OBS seems to have trouble with emulators, take a look at, look in the options, look at what video render method, codec, whatever the term may be, whatever one it has selected. For this, for Visual Boy Advance, I've got Direct 3D selected, and that one seemed to work with OBS pretty nicely. Alright, so this is Friends of Mineral Town. I've tucked this one up as being a pretty good intro to the series for anyone interested in Harvest Moon at all. I do have another save. I did a couple of days in the game just to get some extra money, because... Let me turn the volume down. It's semi-slow start. You only start out with 2 slots in your rucksack, and 2 slots for tools, plus a 3rd extra slot for whatever is currently in your hands. It's a little slow to start, but here we're just gonna see what the intro is like, so you can guys get a sense of the story. It's a pretty classical Harvest Moon story. Somebody died, and you get the farm. Anytime someone says, you can't just come waltzing in here, I really want someone to actually come in doing a dance. I'm Taco Bob. The third. Would anyone else proudly say that they are Taco Bob? This is a little different than some of the other Harvest Moons. In other ones, it's your grandfather who died. In this one, it's just some random old guy you met on a trip. Home alone on a farm. Well, at least we know phones exist. Seems to be ambiguous depending on the game. One of these days, the Harvest Moons will actually show you the city. Every game talks about it. It's like it's some mysterious place outside of the fog. But we never actually see it. It's just occasionally your parents materialize from it. Like a kraken. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to be doing a Link Between Worlds. Well, not too far off, actually. As of now, I recorded all of the footage for the Hero of Leaf Valley and Tale of Two Towns Let's Plays. And the only thing left for me to do any recording of is a Link Between Worlds, really. And Taco Bob was selected as the name for the link in that game. So yes, the cousin of Pizza Joe. E. Gee, thanks. Growing up with no self-esteem anyway. So we're not going to be seeing too much of the game. At least we're not going to be seeing enough to find out who that little girl turns it into when she grows up. But basically, whoever you woo and whoever you eventually marry, she's basically Schrodinger's girlfriend. Whoever you marry turns out to be that little girl. They made sure to make her look nothing like any of the other women, so... She doesn't really come up in any serious way. I didn't get an email for the Triforce codes, or Triforce Heroes codes. I actually pre-ordered the games from Amazon last night. And just today, actually, Highwaying gave me a demo code, which I downloaded that just before we started the stream. Might be streaming the demo, because you said Nintendo doesn't mind if we do any streaming of it. Hooray! All of these rocks and weeds. Well, if you need a use for the codes that you got, Reaper, Yoshi has a 3DS, but he does. I mean, he might like want to try that for when the demos come around. Okay, this is all just kind of general BS. I'll explain it as we go along. I have heard about the main character hack. They put in a canonically gay character into Story of Seasons. I'm hoping one of these days they'll just bite the bullet and make all bachelors and bachelorettes available to any of the characters you choose. Having some streaming problems. One sec. Alright, hopefully we're back now. Yada yada yada. We actually skipped there something that other Harvest Moons don't usually tell you. If you do too much, you kind of pass out. But one of the things I like about this game that doesn't happen in a lot of others, there's a pretty much immediate way to start getting some money, and in this case, it's a beehive on your farm. Just down here you can grab a bit of honey, ship that, and that's a good way to get some cash while you're still starting out. There's other ways, of course. When you come down here, you go into the mountains, and there are herbs you can sell. There's only like 4 buttons you really use in this game. Press A to pick up, press B to put it in your rucksack. You can also press L to whistle, or you can hold it down and then press A to pull whatever's in your rucksack out. And then, oh, that was the fast forward. That's an emulator thing. The actual game doesn't do that. It's fun though. Here we need to come and get our tools before we can really do anything. You can see how little space you really have at the start. Also, if you hold down R, then you run around. I think Tale of Two Towns' approach is a little better, where if you just press the run button, then you're automatically in run mode. Now if I hold down L and press B, then I switch out my tools. Then I can press B to use them. One thing I noticed while I was testing the game, you have a lot more stamina in this than a lot of other Harvest Moons. I was able to chop down a ton of these twigs. More than I was in any of the other Harvest Moons, really. These giant stones and these big tree stumps, we can't really do anything with those right now. There, the game even tells you. I think in 64 you were able to at least chop it down really slowly. Like, you'd use up a lot of your strength, but you could eventually get rid of it. It was just better to upgrade your stuff anyway. Oh, here, I already run out of space, because I only have 2 spaces in my rucksack. What if I hold down L and think press... No, that's not that one. Oh yeah, press B. There you go, then I eat it. So it's an extra space, I guess. Don't use the axe on any living things. Hopefully that goes without saying. But here, let's switch over to my other save, where I've actually done a few things, and currently it's raining. Oh, this guy's Juan. He's a character I think is unique to this version of the game. I don't... Or, if anything, he might have been in Back to Nature. I don't remember. It's a terrible game. But this is his gimmick. He sells you garbage. Ape fee. I think these are supposed to be something like the power berries, but I wouldn't trust them. Now, what I like to do to get some pretty easy cash, don't worry about the herbs right now. If you come up to this area, first there's a hot spring, which is a good way to get your stamina back. While you're in there, time does progress, but the longer you're in there, the more stamina you get back, which is pretty nice because up here is the mine, which is accessible right from the start. And a lot of other Harvest Moons, you have to wait until winter. This is scrap metal. You don't want that. Oops. This is more what you want. That's silver. That's worth an okay amount of money. And that's copper. Now, the mine shaft actually resets every time you leave and come back. So if you just hang out here, go to the hot spring and get your stamina back, that's a good way to get some money early on. At present, I have a little over 1,000, which I don't think will be enough to upgrade my rucksack, but it's worth checking. Selling stuff is nice and quick, which I do appreciate. Now, I had misremembered. I thought that this game was the one that introduced stacking, which it's too bad that it isn't. I think it was more like Harvest Moon DS that did that, which I guess I took that for granted. Well, I fast forward. I don't need to worry about that. Oh. Ellie was the girl I always went for in Harvest Moon 64. There's Zach. God damn it. I think the basket I can buy... Nope. That's worth even... That costs even more, even though it's less useful than the rucksack. Like, it's kind of nice for just dumping stuff and keeping it around. But, man, if you don't have enough space, then it's kind of pointless. Yeah, in Harvest Moon DS, you can grow mushrooms, and depending on the... Like, you can grow different levels of mushrooms, including poison mushrooms. And if you drop, I think, either level 99 or level 100 poison mushroom into the community pot during the Harvest Festival, you kill everyone in town. Flowers you can't sell, which is too bad. Maybe you can. If you're seeing any screen tearing, I'm not seeing it on my emulator. It might be the stream, or it could be on your end, I'm not sure. I always get the buttons mixed up. I don't think you really need to destroy these little rocks. In fact, in Harvest Moon 64, they made for better fences than actual fences. There's my dog. Your dog is super fucking tiny. It's really easy to get him lost, especially if you haven't cleared out the weeds like I haven't. But then I can't really be asked right now. Don't think there's anything I can really upgrade right now. I haven't used much. Or you can also befriend the harvest sprites, and then they'll do stuff for you. I'm able to upgrade the hammer right away. Guess that's something. I like the term the boonies. It's so nondescript. For most of these tools, you could probably level them up all the way before you actually upgrade them. Especially the hammer, if you knew enough mining. In fact, let's see if I can't access some lower levels in the mine. Stop. Now to get to the lower levels in the mine, you need to actually use the hoe. There we go. In other games, you'll just come across holes randomly. But on this one, you gotta find them yourself. And in lower levels, you'll find much better ore. You can see, I've done so much work and only now am I getting slightly tired. Oh, you can also dig up actual gold, which is nice. Not gold ore, but money. And I'm pretty sure you can also dig up black herbs, which you can use to recover your stamina. There we go. Pretty nice. This is one case. Since you can actually pull up your diary and save and load right away, and you've got two data slots, the mine in particular is a very good way to save scum and just get a shit ton of cash right away. Because as soon as you come into an area, whatever is in any of these rocks and where everything is on the ground has been set. As soon as you come into an area, it stops being randomized, and I think I'll call it there. But if you do save scumming and you've got a lot of patience, you can dig up everything without losing too much stamina. And especially once you got a bigger rucksack, it's a very good way to make a lot of money. I save scummed the fuck out of Harvest Moon DS, let me tell you. Oh, then you can... And now I'm dead. I can actually still do a bit of work, even though I'm tired. But it'll just make it more likely that I wake up sick tomorrow. But if I come up to the hot spring and just hang out in there for a little while, I get some of my stamina back, and I no longer have any cold viruses up in my nose. This is another good use of the fast forward. It isn't save scumming if it gives you money. I can live with that. Makes me feel better about Tale of Two Towns. Just goddamn that game. So I haven't mentioned it yet, but Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town is technically a remake of Back to Nature from PlayStation 1. And it's an improvement in every possible way. The original one, it's played on the diagonal. I forget the exact term for it, but the camera is at a Dutch angle. You can only move diagonally, even though you can also only press up or down, left and right. You can't move in all directions. It's incredibly difficult to control. I understand a lot of games controlled like that back in the day. Doesn't mean it isn't bad. Isometric, there it is, thank you. That guy's the constable. And Harvest Moon 64 is the mailman. Back to Nature, and consequently this game, takes the characters from Harvest Moon 64 and completely switches around their roles, their families, even in some cases their personalities. So it's basically a completely different game. And if you were used to one group of people, then this game is kind of a mindfuck. Thank you, Malik Stokester. One important thing to remember if you play this game, going to sleep and writing in the diary are two completely different things. In some Harvest Moons, you can do one and then you have to do the other, but they are mutually exclusive in this. Whoa. I think Rick's an asshole. I'm not sure, actually. Worst dog. Still worst farm. No matter what the incarnation, it is always the worst. You can also take a look down in the mountains. Moving on the diagonal in this game is also a little awkward, because you can only move up, down, left, and right. But, as you can see, some of the landscape moves at a diagonal, which is a little funky. That was the wrong button. I was trying to see if I could actually look at this item. It's a bamboo shoot. They seem to be in every Harvest Moon game. And apparently eating bamboo shoots is actually a thing, but it's not one I'm familiar with. It's not one I'm sure I would enjoy myself. I don't know, maybe it tastes like asparagus or something. Other foods that are technically grassy. Artichokes. Who knows? Get back here. It's only fair I at least attempt a little bit of farming. You don't start out with any animals, don't start out with any crops, don't start out with any seeds either. How are bamboo shoots then, Highwing? What do they taste like is the main question on my mind. Ah! Well, funny thing, if you're running and you press any other button, you just stop. If you hold down the R, then you just automatically run in whatever direction you're facing. Oh yeah, that's another change. Stu here is actually the little brother of Ellie. Well, when you call me that, I always feel unwell. They taste like a species of bear that actually want to die out. What? It's a secret! If you really want to have fun with Harvest Moon, find out what people hate and give it that. Whose side do I take? You guys choose. The pretty lady or the tiny little shit? For the record, we are in the clinic right now. In this game, Ellie is the nurse, and she works as a nurse for a doctor. I don't think they give him an actual name in this game. Hard to remember. Tiny shit, Kid Moe. Alright, we're 2 for 2. 3 for Ellie. Two more votes will decide it. Pretty lady, tiny shit. Alright, we're going with Ellie. Ha 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 ha. I don't feel bad. You'll need to get used to it. There, now love me. What's happening? Oh. Still in cutscene mode. That can happen sometimes. There's a doctor. That's true. Yeah, in this game they just call him Doctor. They give him a name in other games. Already another cutscene. Well, that was fast. I'm not a doctor, I'm Metal Man. It's just we only have so much time to imply a romantic connection. She's even humming thinking about him. Can I actually talk to you people, or are we just getting a bunch of cutscenes? There we go, thank you. One thing I really miss playing Tale of Two Towns, that's in other games, time stops indoors. It's very nice. It's very useful. Speaking of which, time also stops in the mines. Which is another way it's pretty easy to get a lot of cash just by mining in there, because not too much time progresses. I think it might be a case of every time you go to a new level, the game's timer doesn't quite know how to calculate it, so it goes forward like a minute or a second, so you can run out of time that way. Let's go something simple. we'll do a turnip, and we'll do a cucumber. Yes, my rucksack is full. Imagine if you were... I ran into the counter before I could finish the sentence. But I'm not Dio. I'm Taco Bob. Get out of here, dog. So I'm not sure. I haven't actually done any research on this game. Not since I played it seriously way back when. I don't know how. But I don't know if in this game cucumbers regrow. I know they do in Tale of Two Towns. And a few other games. Burrito Bill. I wonder if there's enough character slots for that. God damn it. Sadly, the first week for most Harvest Moon games is a lot of tedium. Relatively fast tedium at the very least. Hot Dog Howard. Keep him coming, folks. I haven't talked to Gotts yet. He's a little friendlier than he is in Harvest Moon 64. God damn it. So I could chop it in two as long as I have an axe, but if I drop it and break it in two, then it just disappears. If I got some eggs, something you can actually do is just drop it into the spa, and you get a spa-boiled egg. Not sure if that counts as cooking. Maybe in this game there's actual recipes, which would be nice. Felt like such a wasted opportunity. In Harvest Moon 64, you just collect a lot of recipes, and that's it. You can't do anything with it. It's just, at the end of the third year, or maybe at the start of it, your dad comes to town, and he starts asking people, how is he doing? Asking everyone to judge you. And the gourmet will decide if he likes you or not, depending on how many recipes you have. Can't do anything with the recipes, it's just another thing for people to judge you for. Wow, I am way too high up. I should not be anywhere near the clouds. Is that the town? Holy shit, I never saw that before. Sushi Yoshi. There's a bunch of flowers over here. If for whatever reason you need some. Bunch of flowers. Flowers are good, if obvious, gifts. Nobody really seems to mind. They would have better currency elsewhere. If this game were released a few years down. There it is. I knew there was at least one left. Also, don't start out with a horse. And the horse just hangs out in there. It's not really too much you can do. What is this board for? In case you need reminding where the wall is. I think my dog might have appreciated not being left out in the rain. Oh well. Another thing I appreciate about this game, all the text boxes are very fast. And you can drop out of them pretty much immediately. Other games just kind of make you linger. This guy must love his animals. Yeah, this horse isn't doing so great. Let's drop him off at the guy who showed up this week. Let's see if there is enough space for Burrito Bill. Yes, there is, and there's still one space left over. That ain't happening. I'll put him in the place where you forget about him. Wait for it. There he is. Let's get down to harvest mooning. God, even my throat didn't want to say it. Oh, that sounded gross. For all you newcomers to Harvest Moon, this is how we had to do it back in the day. Square by square. How many spaces are in there anyway? Oh, that's not too bad, actually. Still not quite there. I will you to get big and strong, because I'm not going to try myself. How did you get in there? The only things that really grow naturally on your farm are weeds. Stones and twigs and stumps, those only show up after a huge storm, like a typhoon. Can't do anything about those twigs. Oh well. Game looks decently pretty for a Game Boy Advance game. Looks better than the original. The original is kind of a mess. So it's kind of 2 for 2 of games on the PlayStation systems that weren't very good. Back to Nature and Save the Homeland. That when they re-released them later, they were so much better. Like, Friends of Mineral Town for Back to Nature, and Hero of Leaf Valley for Save the Homeland. Oop. The B button is the button you use to jump in Tale of Two Towns. And you need to jump to collect some of the bugs that you see. Oh, I killed it. Oh well. I don't think this is a game where you can actually catch the bugs. The funny thing about Back to Nature, it was released after Harvest Moon 64, which basically did 3D thing perfectly fine, because you could go in all 8 directions. But that way you could only go up, down, left, right, except it was up, right, up, left, down, right, down, left, but you could only control with up, down, left, right, so it was a completely awkward and so hard to figure out. Like, you could never really get the muscle memory for it. Unless you did a lot of isometric games. I'm gonna start employing the fast forward if you guys don't mind. I know it's not really a thing in actual games, but it should be. I'm getting really lucky with those. Yeah, if you keep an eye on the clock, you can kind of see it progressing in between the levels. If there is cooking in this game, you can actually hang on to the black herbs, and then when it comes a point... actually thinking about it, there are ingredients in the grocery, so yeah, you could probably cook in this game, but if you hang on to the black herbs, then when you get around to cooking curry, you actually use the herbs, the various colored herbs that you find to make new types of curry. So you need a black herb to make black curry. And something tells me, I think you might need to combine multiple types of curry, or at least just different colors to get the rainbow curry. And there we go. I just want to at least get to level 5. I don't care if I pass out. I just want to see what I get. Obviously, the further down you go, the better stuff you get. Alright. Yeah, rainbow curry sounds kind of gross, but in pretty much every Harvest Moon, if you can get it, it's the best kind of curry you can get. Except for Tale of Two Towns, which you'll see. Oh yeah, in this game, I think in this one, Rick and Karen are love interests. For each other, not just for you. Karen is for you, Rick isn't. And that's the problem with Harvest Moon. Rick and Potpourri are siblings in this one, and their dad is away trying to find a cure for their mom, who's perpetually sick. You never see the dad. He never comes back. He never finds a cure. Never even finds a treatment. Nice forehead there, Karen. And Rick is really pissy about his dad because of that. That is a damn efficient fast forward. I like that. It's not quite that fast for the DS emulator. Kinda wish it was. He does kind of look like our Rick. Or at least what I imagine our Rick looking like. tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna find another copper. I'm gonna hang on to the other copper, and then we'll see what upgrading looks like. Yeah, I know some games want you to just slow down, just experience the game with us at our pace. Not everyone's got that patience for that. As much as I think I could appreciate it, even I kind of want, you know, just put in a turbo button just for me. Let's pick this up a little bit. Hello, old man. He's really like 30. Just... that's what alcohol does to you. You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. Okay. Yeah, the run button kind of lets you phase through people. At 8 p.m., the music just stops. And suddenly, you're in a... I don't know, a washroom. Are you tired of this sound effect yet? Wow, that's how much stamina I got back. This game is a lot more forgiving than I remember it being. My dog has found a home amongst the weeds. I'm destroying your home. What are you gonna do about it? Yeah, okay, fine. An auto battle system. I'm guessing it's not like Final Fantasy 13. That's an old joke. That's what we call it. And every game turnips will grow very quickly for you. Not a whole lot of faffing about. Hey! Oh shit, now I need to make sure that the grocery store isn't closed on Saturdays. But at the very least, I can increase space in my rucksack. I think this technically means I'm not wearing a rucksack. I just have 2 pockets. And somehow this big cancer sore on my back. Nope, you can't meet with your friends. Okay. These 2 are childhood friends. That's their story. There's the mayor. And it's a laugh riot. There we go. And with that, if I can press the right button, increases it just 2 spaces, but those are 2 extra very useful spaces. The basket up here, what it is, you just stand next to it and dump items into it, and then you pick up the basket and you can, if you go up to a shipping bin, just dump everything that's in the basket into the bin from there. And there's a shit ton of space in the basket. You can't pull anything out of it once you put anything in. But otherwise, it's a pretty useful little item. Someone had asked me a while back if I was going to Let's Play any other Harvest Moons. And after Hero of Leaf Valley and Tale 2 Towns, I can't really see myself having the patience to give another one of these a go. I love the franchise, I love all the games, but they're so open-ended, and they take so long. So many in-game years before you've really seen much of anything. Or at the very least, most of everything. And you have to know where everything is. You have to know how to find everything before you really can. And it almost drove me around the bend just with Tale of Two Towns. Here of Leaf Valley, at the very least, there's a definite narrative and goal that you're working towards. You're trying to save the town. Once you've saved the town, that's at the end of year 2. And then year 3 and 4, there's very little else happening. You're just kind of enjoying your life on your own. But Tale of Two Towns and Friends of Mineral Town here, it's a lot more open-ended. And I'm glad that I gave Tale of Two Towns a shot recording it. But I can't really see myself giving another one of these a proper Let's Play again. I guess that's kind of why I was doing I've been doing all of these one-off streams as well. Just so that I can show off all the other Harvest Moons. Because every Harvest Moon LP on Something Awful has died. And sort of with no real given reason, it's just the LPers stopped. That was the wrong button. But I wanted to give as much as I could to SA, so that eventually when those 2 LPs are done, and submitted to the archive, then that's another franchise we can say has been LP'd, and has a nice little place on the archives. Yeah, with Hero of Leaf Valley, since there was a definite end of the story, I wanted to use that one, whatever. I was able to find a proper end to the Let's Play. Just sort of save the town, there we go, done everything. Everything else is just extra stuff, and that won't even take up, like, 2, maybe 3 parts, just extras. So that one's pretty easy to Let's Play, just in terms of finding an end. Tale of Two Towns, it was so open-ended, I basically had to go until I had busted the game, sort of accidentally, and I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. You'll see what happens. It's kind of like this. I use an emulator for that one, and I'm a little more liberal using the advantages of emulation for Tale of Two Towns than I was for Leaf Valley. Just because of how the game is. It's a lot more like Friends of Mineral Town, Harvest Moon 64. Very open-ended. And in a couple places that I ended up making a few mistakes. But thankfully it was after the point where I decided, if anything happens, we'll call this the end of the LP. And I had reached that point, so it was fine. Now, that is kind of a good point, what Rothy says, though I don't think it's quite what they meant, but Harvest Moon, and even to an extent Bomberman before I had started doing my LPs, were sort of Let's Play curses condensed to specific franchises. Like, none of the LPs for any of those games, Harvest Moon and Bomberman, were ever completed. At the very least, never archived. I think Knorr, way back in the day, Let's Played Super Bomberman 3. And he might have finished that, I'm not sure. But it was never archived, never really... None of the LPs finished, and Harvest Moon, most of them ended before spring. Like, before the end of spring in any of the games. It's sort of surprising. Yeah, Reaper Holland, it wasn't quite full-on mistake. It was... I had used codes to just jump through, because, well, it's not too much of a spoiler, but as you go on, as you start every new season, Eileen gives you the option to upgrade something on your farm. So what I was doing, I was just using codes to jump straight to the end of every month so that I could go to bed and there would be a new upgrade option from Eileen. But with the emulator I was using, save states don't just save a specific state. If you activate a save state, it overwrites your current save. So I had a save state that I accidentally activated after I had jumped forwards basically years by that point and upgraded so many things that I lost a lot of data. And I thought, well, that's as good a point as any to end the LP. But I did decide to at least show off sort of something I've been working on with their recipes. So I was at least able to show all the recipes in the game. So there are some things that I did 100% in Tale of Two Towns, just not the entire game. I don't know how you could 100% that game. Hero of Leaf Valley, though, you can kind of 100%, and I did manage that, so look forward to that. There I go. Well, 100% in a sense. I got all the endings, which is what you want. Harvest Moon is a series that's so much more complicated than you think it would be. Yeah, it's a cute anime-ish farming simulator. Oh, by the way, there's like a billion things you can do and a billion ways you can screw them up. I didn't talk to my horse today. Your horse can't starve, which is nice. I don't know if I'd call it a good ending. There's Zach. As soon as he comes in, anything else you ship won't get counted towards your money for the day. But you immediately get the money, I think. So I didn't make too much today, but what are you gonna do? I might be thinking of Harvest Moon 64. We'll see. You are right, though. It's a pretty good ending for the worst farm. Just ending on a fuck-up. Well, what I had wanted for this stream was to at least get a rucksack. Kinda disappointing. But what the hell? It doesn't look like much, but it's like the case with any Harvest Moon game. They're hard sells if you were to try to describe them to anyone. But if you actually get down to playing them, every single one of them is surprisingly addictive. And Friends of Mineral Town in particular, I think, has one of the lowest barriers of entry out of the franchise. It and Story of Seasons get you down into the quote-unquote action faster than most of them. It's been a week, and I've already got an upgraded rucksack. It's not much, but I know Harvest Moon DS... Oh man, that is such a slow start. A New Beginning is almost an agonizingly slow start. You're doing tutorial shit for the first month or so. Like, just look back on my stream of that, if you want kind of evidence of that. And Sunshine Islands, I haven't played Island of Happiness, but I know Sunshine Islands, which is supposed to be a better version of Island of Happiness, also takes ages to start up. With this game, I give a recommendation if you're at all interested in Harvest Moon and want a good starting point. This game will do it for you.